This episode is brought to you by listeners like you, our magical elixir, and the spellbinding boost behind this mic. Thanks for joining us on this fantastical adventure.
Prepare for warp speed as we embark on a voyage through the vast expanse of science fiction in movies and television series. From distant planets to alien civilizations, we delve into the heart of the unknown, unraveling the tales that have captivated audiences for generations. Get ready to unlock the secrets of the universe on Code Flix.
Greetings, fellow sci-fi and fantasy lovers. Welcome to Code Flix, where we explore the TV shows and movies that shape our imaginations. I'm Andre Bonner, and in today's episode, we'll be looking at the Mortal Kombat Conquest series from 1998. This one here is a true hidden gem from my teenage years. A series that may have flown under the radar for many, thanks to its low ratings. But for me and my friends, it was everything. We were already knee-deep in the Mortal Kombat universe, thanks to the games and the movies. But then came Mortal Kombat Conquest. And the moment I saw the promo on TV, I knew I had to be locked in. I think it aired Wednesdays around 6 p.m. And believe me, it became appointment viewing. If you know me, you know I'm a sucker for a good series intro. And this one delivered hard. Epic music, the characters busting out kicks, flips, full-on fight sequence, while a booming narrator laid out the stakes. Chills every time. Set centuries before the events of the films, Conquest carves out a darker, grittier world where chaos simmers just beneath the surface. At the center is Kung Lao, Earthrealm's champion, who won Mortal Kombat and secured a fragile peace. Alongside him are Siro, a disgraced bodyguard with a sharp tongue and fists to match, and Taja, a reformed thief with serious skills and quick wit. Together, they train for the battles ahead, because even in peacetime, Earthrealm is never truly safe. What I loved is how each episode felt like a standalone adventure, yet all fed into the bigger narrative of destiny, betrayal, and survival. It was a wild ride, one that went deeper into the Mortal Kombat mythology than anything we'd seen at the time. If you're into martial arts action, fantasy, and rich lore-filled storytelling, Mortal Kombat Conquest is a serious throwback worth revisiting. It's raw, it's intense, and it dives headfirst into what makes the MK universe legendary.
Mortal Kombat Conquest is an American martial arts television series developed by Juan Carlos Cotto, based on the Mortal Kombat fighting game franchise. In a recent podcast with Aslam Ullah, actor Jeff Meek, who played both Raiden and Shao Kahn, spoke about its production and the plans for Season 2. The show aired in syndication for one season from 3rd October 1998 to 22nd May 1999. The series serves as a prequel to the games, following the original Kung Lao, Paolo Montalban, as he protects Earthrealm with the help of bodyguard Siro, Daniel Bernhardt, and former thief Taja, Kristanna Loken. The show also features game characters such as Kitna, Raiden and Sub-Zero. It was one of the first live-action shows based on a video game to air on United States television, preceded only by the live-action segments of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Many millennia ago, the Earth was a young and desirable planet. Powerful and rich with natural resources, the vicious megalomaniac, Shao Kahn wanted Earth as part of his growing collection of conquered realms known as Outworld. To protect the Earthrealm, from Shao Kahn, Mortal Kombat, a tournament in which the fate of the planet is decided in battles between competitors from Earthrealm and Outworld, was created. 500 years in the past, the monk warrior, Kung Lao defeated Shao Kahn's sorcerer, Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. When Kung Lao spared his life, Kahn imprisoned Tsung in the cobalt mines. Kung Lao now had to train the next generation of warriors, who would give their lives to save the Earth. Kung Lao creates a partnership and friendship with two warriors, Siro, a former bodyguard, and Taja, an ex-thief. In the dark and mysterious city of Zhuzin, Kung Lao and his new friends are guided and watched over by the thunder god, Raiden. The three now battle various assortments of evils of both Outworld and Earthrealm, including an imprisoned Tsung, who swore eternal revenge on Kung Lao for his humiliating defeat, and his ally, the sultry and seductive Warpax, who is also imprisoned in the cobalt mines and has an agenda of her own. Here are 20 key tropes featured in the series. 1. Bad as normal. Despite lacking supernatural powers, Kung Lao, Siro, and Taja rely on martial arts prowess and resourcefulness to combat formidable foes. 2. Canon foreigner. Characters like Taja, Siro, and Warpax were created specifically for the series, expanding the Mortal Kombat universe beyond the games. 3. The bad guy wins. The series concludes with Shao Kahn defeating the heroes, killing them all except for Raiden, who is left imprisoned. 4. Doomed by canon. As the great Kung Lao, the protagonist is fated to be defeated by Goro, aligning with the established lore of the games. 5. Villain of the week. Each episode introduces new antagonists, including ninjas, sorcerers, and bandits, challenging the protagonists in various ways. 6. Waifu. The series employs wire-assisted stunts and slow-motion effects to enhance the martial arts sequences. 7. Trickster mentor. Raiden often provides cryptic guidance, encouraging the heroes to find solutions on their own rather than offering direct assistance. 8. Miss Fanservice. Female characters frequently wear revealing outfits, contributing to the show's visual appeal. 9. Composite character. Kali combines traits from game characters Jade and Tanya, serving as a nod to fans familiar with the franchise. 10. Adaptational attractiveness. Mileena's appearance is altered from the games, initially portrayed as more grotesque but later shown with a more attractive visage. 11. Big Bad Ensemble. Both Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn serve as primary antagonists, each with their own schemes against Earthrealm. 12. City of Adventure. The trading city of Zhuzin serves as the central hub for the protagonists' activities, attracting various characters and conflicts. 13. Chickification. Taja's character experiences a reduction in agency over time, often sidelined in favor of male counterparts. 14. Everybody has lots of sex. The series includes numerous romantic and sexual encounters among characters, reflecting a more mature tone. 15. Early adaptation weirdness. Some characters, like Noob Saibot, are portrayed differently than in the games, leading to inconsistencies with established lore. 16. Elite mooks. Shadow priests, while generic, are depicted as formidable adversaries capable of challenging the main characters. 17. Fanservice extra. Background characters often wear revealing attire, contributing to the show's overall aesthetic. 18. Ship tease. The series hints at potential romantic relationships, such as between Kung Lao and Kitna, without fully exploring them. 19. Everybody dies ending. The final episode features the deaths of all main characters, culminating in a bleak conclusion for the series. 20. Nightmare fuel. Certain scenes, like Reptile's transformation and the series' dark ending, contribute to the show's unsettling atmosphere. Mortal Kombat Conquest offers a unique blend of martial arts action, fantasy elements, and character-driven storytelling, expanding upon the Mortal Kombat universe in a serialized format.
If you're vibing the podcast, don't just lurk in the shadows of the realms. Join the fight. Share it with a fellow sci-fi warrior and drop a comment to prove your loyalty to the cause. This isn't some monetized tournament. It's a passion-filled fuel battle for the soul of sci-fi storytelling. Every follow, listen, and share strengthens the realm, and maybe, just maybe, saves it from total annihilation. The podcast has begun.
Here is a list of themes and symbols in throughout the series. Themes: destiny and free will. A central theme is the tension between destiny and choice. Kung Lao is chosen to defend Earthrealm, but the series repeatedly explores whether fate is fixed or whether characters can shape their paths through personal decisions. Balance between realms. The fragile peace between Earthrealm, Outworld, and other realms is a metaphor for political balance and the constant threat of war. The series highlights the struggle to maintain harmony against forces seeking domination. Power and corruption. Many characters, including Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn, embody how the pursuit of power can corrupt even the most disciplined. The series examines how power tempts and changes people, often leading to their downfall. Martial honor versus brutality. The show juxtaposes traditional martial arts values, discipline, respect, and balance, against the brutal, no-rules violence of the Mortal Kombat tournament, questioning what truly makes a warrior. Betrayal and loyalty. Relationships in the series are frequently tested by deception, double-crosses, and hidden agendas. Trust becomes a scarce and valuable resource in a world ruled by ambition. Spirituality and inner strength. Characters often undergo personal growth or struggle with internal demons, emphasizing the importance of inner strength, spiritual grounding, and self-knowledge as keys to survival and victory. Symbols. The Dragon Amulet Mortal Kombat symbol represents the burden and legacy of the Mortal Kombat champion. It's a mark of responsibility, destiny, and the eternal battle between good and evil. The tournament. More than a combat sport, the Mortal Kombat tournament is symbolic of cosmic order. It is the ritual through which realms decide their fate, echoing ancient mythologies of trial and conquest. Outworld. Symbolize chaos, tyranny, and the consequences of unrestrained ambition. It serves as a dark mirror to Earthrealm, warning of what happens when power goes unchecked. Shang Tsung's sorcery. His magic and soul-stealing reflect manipulation and parasitic control, symbolizing how some thrive by draining the vitality of others, literally and figuratively. The Training Temple acts as a sanctuary and crucible, where characters are forged through discipline and struggle. It symbolizes the hope that order and wisdom can stand against chaos and tyranny. Conclusion. Mortal Kombat Conquest blends martial arts action with dark fantasy to explore themes of fate, power, and personal growth within a mythic struggle between realms. Through symbolic elements like the tournament and the dragon emblem, it weaves a narrative about legacy, moral conflict, and the eternal fight between good and evil. While rooted in action, its deeper messages about responsibility, loyalty, and the corrupting influence of power give it a mythological depth that echoes classic heroes' journey tales. Here is a character analysis of the main characters from Mortal Kombat Conquest. Kung Lao, Paolo Montalban. A noble warrior monk and recent champion of Mortal Kombat, Kung Lao is burdened with protecting Earthrealm from future invasions. He is wise, disciplined, and deeply committed to his duty, but also struggles with personal sacrifice, especially in choosing his mission over love and peace. Lao's inner conflict centers around the cost of being a hero. He wants to train future champions to continue the legacy, but his refusal to kill his enemies or act without honor often puts him at odds with the ruthlessness of his foes. Taja, Kristanna Loken. Taja is a former thief with a sharp tongue, quick reflexes, and a pragmatic worldview. Her street-smart attitude and self-preservation instincts contrast with Kung Lao's idealism. Over time, Taja grows from a self-interested rogue to a loyal companion, showing increased trust and willingness to fight for the greater good. Her character adds grounded, emotional realism and challenges the idea that only traditional warriors can be heroes. Siro, Daniel Bernhardt. A former bodyguard with a hot temper and a direct approach, Siro brings brawn and a soldier's pragmatism to the team. He often plays the skeptic and comic relief but is fiercely loyal once he forms a bond. His dynamic with Taja frequently features flirtation and conflict, though there's mutual respect. Siro's journey involves learning to value selflessness and teamwork over brute force or personal gain. Shang Tsung, Bruce Locke. Imprisoned in the cobalt mines after his defeat, Shang Tsung remains a cunning, power-hungry sorcerer who seeks vengeance and freedom. Manipulative and charismatic, he constantly plots to escape and regain his former power. Despite his confinement, he exerts influence over events and people, often preying on their fears and weaknesses. Shang Tsung represents the ever-present threat of corruption and the return of darkness. Quan Chi, Adoni Maropis. A necromancer and rival of Shang Tsung, Quan Chi is deceptive, cruel, and purely self-serving. He frequently schemes with or against other villains depending on his advantage. His dark magic and alliances with the Netherrealm make him a dangerous wild card. His character embodies treachery, always testing the boundaries between alliance and betrayal. Warpax, Tracy Douglas. An Outworld spy and seductress, Warpax works for Emperor Shao Kahn but has her own ambitions. Intelligent and manipulative, she often allies with Shang Tsung or Quan Chi while secretly pursuing her goals. Her character explores themes of power dynamics and feminine cunning in a male-dominated villain hierarchy. Raiden, Jeffrey Meek. As the god of thunder and protector of Earthrealm, Raiden serves as a mentor and spiritual guide to Kung Lao and his companions. Wise, sarcastic, and often frustrated by the human's flaws, Raiden operates under strict rules that limit his direct involvement. His character reflects divine restraint, duty, and the burden of watching mortals suffer for their freedom. Shao Kahn, Jeffrey Meek. The Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn is the ultimate villain, ruling through fear and domination. He only appears occasionally, but his presence looms over every episode. Ruthless, commanding, and obsessed with conquest, Kahn represents tyranny and the existential threat to Earthrealm. Summary. Mortal Kombat Conquest presents a cast of characters caught between duty, ambition, and survival. The series centers on the moral weight of protecting a realm in constant peril and the cost of wielding power, whether for good or evil. Each character adds a distinct personality and worldview, deepening the show's exploration of legacy, sacrifice, and resistance against fate. Here is a detailed overview of the production and design of Mortal Kombat Conquest. Production overview. Filming locations. Primary studios. The series was filmed at Disney MGM Studios in Orlando, Florida, utilizing sound stages for interior scenes. Additional locations, Exterior shots were conducted at Splendid China, a Central Florida attraction featuring replicas of China's historic landmarks. Production companies. Threshold Entertainment and New Line Television produced the series, with Warner Bros. Domestic Television Distribution handling distribution. Artist palette set and production design. Set design. Recurring sets. The series primarily utilized a limited number of sets, including the trading post, served as the main residence for the protagonists. Marketplace, an exterior set adjacent to the trading post. Cobalt Mines of Shokan, a cavernous setting where Shang Tsung plotted his schemes. Shao Kahan's throne room, a grand set piece carved out of fiberglass, weighing over 300 pounds. Set reusability. A swing set was employed, allowing redressing to represent various locations, such as the Lin Kuei Temple. Visual effects. 3D animation and compositing, handled by Threshold Digital Research Labs, contributing to the series' supernatural elements. Matte paintings, utilized to enhance the visual scope of the series, compensating for budgetary constraints. Costume design. Budget constraints. As the series progressed, budget reductions impacted costume quality, leading to noticeable inconsistencies. Character attire. Protagonists wore practical, martial arts-inspired outfits suitable for combat sequences. Antagonists and guest characters featured more elaborate costumes, though some were criticized for appearing low-budget. Performing arts casting and performances. Main cast. Paolo Montalban as Kung Lao. Daniel Bernhardt as Siro. Kristana Loken as Taja. Jeffrey Meek as both Raiden and Shao Kahan. Stunt work. Daniel Bernhardt performed his own fight sequences, showcasing his martial arts expertise. Headphone sound and music. Composer. Jonathan Sloat provided the musical score, delivering intense compositions that heightened the series' action sequences. Sound design emphasized the supernatural elements of the series, incorporating effects to complement the mystical aspects of the Mortal Kombat universe. Television reception and legacy. Audience reception. The series garnered a cult following, appreciated for its martial arts choreography and adherence to the Mortal Kombat lore. Criticism faced scrutiny for its limited set variety, budgetary limitations, and occasional continuity errors. Home media, released on DVD in various regions, including a complete series set in 2015.
In each of us, there burns a soul of a warrior. In every generation, a few are chosen to prove it. Centuries ago, in a time of darkness and fury, that fate befell 3 strangers, a monk, Kung Lao, an exiled guard, Siro, and a thief, Taja, who have to defend our Earthrealm from the forces of Outworld. By fighting for their lives, by fighting for their honor, and by fighting for their realm, in a tournament called Mortal Kombat. So here are my personal insights and interpretations of Mortal Kombat Conquest, including some of my favorite moments, some of the themes and the characters. Yeah. First thing I have to say about this particular series is that the Dutch angle is evil. It's evil. That was the way how, they use it a lot. They utilize it a lot. And I mean, it really sells the, what's going on in the series or throughout the episodes that we have seen. And I have to tell you that at the time when I was younger, it just seemed like, it just made sense. Growing up and learning that Dutch angles are what they definitely use. And if you don't know what Dutch angle is, it's just the way how they adjust the camera. You notice that they always angle, slightly askew the frame of reference. So you're looking at a character and him look like him, like him standing up sideways or skewed. Yeah, that's what it is, And a lot of that we see, especially with the scenes of the Emperor Shao Kahn in Outworld, Yeah, a lot of his close-ups and, some of the long-range shots are done in Dutch angle. So, yeah, I had to just, yeah, when you are a geek about these things, you tend to talk about them. All right, so getting into the series. So the series is one season, right? And obviously it's because there wasn't a lot of take up of it. It was cancelled before, a proper conclusion and thing. And recently, since watching the series, I realized what was going on, and I was able to watch from 1 to the end. Episode 1 goes straight down, and I realized most of the slow burning stuff happened earlier on in the series. So as ratings dropped, so did the creativity go up. So yeah, it's like a inverse relationship, but it wasn't enough. The creativity and getting more interesting stories and, centering the characters and growing the characters, it didn't really take off in that way, right? And you will see what I mean when I get into the deep dive, right? So when, I watch the movies, right? And I'll be doing the movies at some point, 1 and 2, and even the remake that they did. You knew that there was some story or something that started this whole thing, right? And this series kind of gave us an angle, told us what was going on. It didn't go, as far back as to the beginning, but we did get some backstory in terms of some of the characters. We get to actually see like a day in a life kind of thing for some of these characters and getting to understand them a little bit more, like Sang Sung and Shao Kahn and Raiden, Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let me get into the episodes. So the first 2 episodes obviously is a 2-parter. And essentially it starts with us getting to realize our main character, Kung Lao, known as the Great Kung Lao. He would have been the last champion of Mortal Kombat from Earthrealm. So Earthrealm is doing really good at this point. And, he basically would have defeated Sang Sung in Mortal Kombat, right? And sparing his life. I go already, when you have such a noble warrior who him can beat you down, but then at the last minute before him pulverize you or, put it to sea permanently, him just say, you know what, I ain't gonna kill you. Right? So Raiden, talk to him and tell him, say, say, you need to, seek out some new warriors, right? So that, you can train them for Mortal Kombat that's coming up next rotation and next time when we have Mortal Kombat again, and to also protect Earthrealm, right? So that was all cool and things. So we got to meet Taja, the thief, and Siro, the exile guard, as the intro. I love that intro. I have to say that right now. Yeah, I love the intro. I'm saying in each of us. Anyways, I'm going to get into it again. I already said it already. So one of the things about, the episode was very touching was, that Jen, his girlfriend, right, would have been, there and would have been able to actually see that side of the noble warrior that, hey, the man, have a girlfriend and thing. The only thing is that, of course, the father, he never really too want Kung Lao, brought him data. You see me I say? Because I'm one of them rich baron man, them man they were not really into the whole whatever. Yeah. But he, after some unfortunate circumstances, he was killed, right? But before that, of course, he would have been very much aware of the kind of relationship that Kung Lao wants with him daughter, and that Kung Lao, never ever give up. So he would have had some bodyguard, right? Siro being one of the guards them. He would have known what was going on as well, but he was kind of soft on Kung Lao and stuff. By the end of the episode, we learn about also the cobalt mines where Shang Tsung was deposited after his loss to Kung Lao, and he would basically find a friend, if you want to call it, in a prisoner named Vorpax, and basically start plan out him revenge because him seek some serious revenge against Kung Lao for what happened, All right, so in part 2, which is episode 2, we will see that, Kung Lao has now joined with Taja and Siro, right? And him start to accept that his destiny is to protect the Earthrealm, right? So Siro warned Jen that there's something not right with the new guard that has replaced him in the household named Takeda. He has been possessed by Scorpion, right? And so this is, a nice introduction right out the gate to have one of the most iconic characters that most people know, Scorpion. And, to see that, hey, it's basically can possess anybody and basically, become that person. And basically, because Shang Tsung sent him to eliminate Kung Lao, right? Jen tried to sneak her from her father's house, but she get caught, right? So the Baron did done one of Kung Lao and basically sentenced him to death, After, Raiden intervene, he get Taja for help for rescue Kung Lao from the gallows. So, working in concert without even knowing it, Kung Lao, Taja, and Jen end up at the yard, right? The same trading post that will become their home, trying to get Jen out, right? But Shang Tsung have, some serious plans for Kung Lao, so, him get Takeda for kidnap Jen. So them find one where Scorpion Takeda took Jen to, and Kung Lao basically have to embrace the fact that boy, his destiny, would be defender of Earthrealm, so he have to take that into account. Jen is killed, and Kung Lao watches her die, and him believing, say, boy, she will always be a part of him life. All his hopes get dashed right there. So the episode basically end with us getting the band together, basically, or started, that is. So Taja, Siro, and Kung Lao, they get ready on their quest. Yeah. Episode 3. cold reality. So the trio, they must prevent Shang Tsung from acquiring a powerful crystal that allows interrealm travel, right? So basically a portal crystal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in this episode, we are introduced to a diabolical Lin Kuei assassin known as Sub-Zero. So we get another iconic character right out the gate, right? We in the beginning of the episodes, and most of the times, what I love about this series is that it has a cool opening. It's usually something that does be like a mic drop moment, like, yo, we need to watch the rest of the episode right before the intro music or theme starts, you know? And in this one, we get to see we get to learn the backstory of how Sub-Zero becomes Sub-Zero, basically. So the person who has been training with the Lin Kuei, right, basically have to learn the arts and whatever and thing, right? And one at a time, the man in a block of ice. You know what I'm saying? And him have to break out of the block of ice. And of course, even that part is in the intro. So, I mean, you know, it just calls back to itself in a fun way, right? So, in the rest of the episode now, Taja and Siro, them head back to the same city of Zuzin, right? Back to the trading post, the place where the deceased Baron Ralan would have been, and they would have gotten the key to that place, of course, right? It's not like them breaking or nothing like that. And the three of them decide to use it as their training center for future fighters, you know, in Mortal Kombat. So, of course, there's a wicked fight scene with a ninja from the Lin Kuei who would have come there, you know, at the trading post and thing. So, what was really happening by that particular Lin Kuei ninja came was because the actual crystal was purchased by the Baron, and that's where it would have been, right? So after the ninja there get, you know, fail in his attempt and get defeated, basically, Sang Sung get the Lin Kuei for get 3 more ninja, right? For send them there for make sure say, you know, them redouble their efforts, basically. Them defeat the ninja them and thing. But Siro, which we realize from this point on, he's like that guy who he doesn't wait on anything for go and scope out a place, or you know what I'm saying? He's always pushing forward to go and into certain danger, right? Even when he's warned about it, right? And him go and him witness the unveiling of Sub-Zero, right? The new ninja / sorcerer, right? So, of course, back at the trading post now, Sub-Zero end up come now, you know what I'm saying? The crystal getting at the mix, right? Them fight with Sub-Zero, but them, you know, of course, they could defeat Sub-Zero, you know, because he's supposed to be the best of all of their warriors. But at least they be able to keep the crystal, you know? Yeah. Episode 4, in Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung's sorcery causes Siro and Taja to age rapidly. Now, Kung Lao must risk everything to save them. So, this episode I feel like Shang Tsung wasn't a serious character or wasn't being given something serious to do in this particular episode, because the man end up work a spell upon a water sack and leave it out for them to drink, right? It would have been either Kung Lao or Taja or Siro would have get it, right? Now, a monk end up being at the post at the wrong place, wrong time. Him take it up, right, after they left, right? Him run after them, right? Him drink some of the water and him give it to them, right? Now, they, after getting that now, them, they there a walk and thing, them drink it, right? And this would have been after the monk could have returned to the temple and him die, right? Because his body age quickly. And even when time the monk them in the temple try to prepare him body for burial, the body still a age and a degrade, right? Until is a pile of dust basically. So them very well would have concluded that something evil is at work here, right? Vorpax would have been the one who would have been dispatched by Sang Song. So when she leave now, right? After she watch and see what that one, Kung Lao discover and him, follow her and she just must escape, right in a nick of time, escape back to one portal, right? So Kung Lao now, him look by everything and she said, boy, if Vorpax is a part of this, then obviously she'll work for Samsung and something there in the water sack, right? And it was meant for him. So the monk them tell Kung Lao about one woman named Omegas, who is a sorceress who was immortality, right? And is able to reverse this potion that Samsung has, right? So look after Kung Lao reach at the trading post. Him say Taja and Siro age dramatically. So Kung Lao knows say him not have much time, him have to journey to Omegas, right? So him get them together, right? And him just basically him not know whether him not go see them again in the same state that they are, right? Or worse. Anyways, him find Omegas now and after, trying to get her to help, because she's not an easy woman, She's, very young and seductive looking, right? So yeah, after Kung Lao, get her to finally help him, right? Him get the potion to reverse the sorcery of Shang Tsung. When Kung Lao reach back, Shang Tsung have Taja and Siro at the temple, and at this point, Shang Tsung is like, yo, we need to face off in a Mortal Kombat again. We need to do this. This time, me I go beat you. Me I go finally beat you. After, some bop and some boop, right? Some wicked kicks and so on. Kung Lao is victorious. Shang Tsung barely have much strength to reach back at Outworld, right? But it's just enough time for him to be able to feed Taja and Siro with the antidote, Of course, Raiden, I must say, the actions him take jeopardized Earthrealm because by engaging in Mortal Kombat, if he had lost, Earthrealm would have belonged to Outworld, right? Or Shao Kahn. So basically, at the same kind of warning would I get from Omegas, say the serum, the antidote came at a price. And Kung Lao was ready to pay it willingly. Too willingly. That's why I didn't like this episode. Episode 5, The Essence. Kung Lao seeks the essence of Edina to prevent the extinction of the Edian race. So, we are introduced to another race other than the human race, obviously, and other than Earthrealm. So we realize that there are other realms that are in danger or are captured already, and they need help. They're still in a state of, stuff. So, of course, Kung Lao, being the champion of last Mortal Kombat, has been sought out to help with protecting the essence of the Edina. Now, someone learned say that the essence of the Edina end up being taken to Earthrealm, right? By a warrior, right? So what this essence is, right? It provides the Edians with hope that they may rise again. And this is why Shao Kahn wants to destroy it once and for all, right? Which makes sense. Now, Princess Katana, right, is Khan's stepdaughter, right? She is a vanquished Edian, right? And she hears about the essence and about the warrior. She have a friend named Kali, right? And they both set forth to get the essence, right? Of course, Shang Tsung also wants to get his hands on this essence because, it sounds like something that he would want, right? So him get Vorpax now for follow Kitana and Quali, right? Now Kitana comes to Kung Lao now and I convince him say for go with her, right? For meet up with the warrior. When they meet up with the warrior, they realize he has been brutally attacked. Kung Lao learns from the warrior in a dying breath say Kitana, Shao Kahn's stepdaughter, right? So little after that now, him learn, about Kitana's true mission and him agree for help, for hide the essence somewhere on Earthrealm. So Shang Tsung, him end up leaving the cobalt mines. I remember I say it's a prison, so basically you're not supposed to be able to leave, right? But he's able to do it, right? Find a way to do it. And him apparently captures the pouch containing the essence, right? And him escape back to Outworld, right? With Vorpax. So Kitana almost be like, we lost it, look how we'd have tried fight for keep it. But it turns out Kung Lao do a switcheroo, and him actually did protect the essence, right? So, they're none the wiser. Of course, when Sanction finds out, he is like, Episode 6, Noob Sabot. So, Siro, feeling inadequate, is manipulated by a seer named Kiri, leading to the release of a dangerous warrior, right? So this is what I'm talking about in terms of Siro being too willing to rush in at times. So one mysterious seer summons a warrior to defeat Kung Lao and gain favor with the emperor, right? Now, Siro get attacked in the bazaar by 4 would-be robbers, but because him no want to, get no help from Kung Lao, right? He no bother call out, right? Kung Lao got to the bazaar there and he help him, right? For defeat the thugs them. But because Siro have him ego and him, him feel angry, him never want Kung Lao to come help him. When him leave now, Anka tells him of her friend who is a seer, that can give him the powers to become a great warrior. And because of his pride and him curiosity, right, the seer, Kiri, she tells Siro that Zuzin is built on the ruins of a great buried city with a shrine guarded by 2 powerful warriors. And she tell him say, him can seek out them warrior and defeat them, and their strength will flow into him, and he will be as strong and as fierce as Kung Lao. So of course Siro jump in again, right? Him go, and this time Taja come with him, and the 2 of them realize say as them go deeper and deeper underground, them get covered in an oily muck. Realizing say with the seer tell him nah really makes sense still, but him still press on because him feel like say him still can get the powers. Him end up going into the deeper into the place. Him get knocked out, right? Him almost get suffocated. Taja for come to him aid. Of course, this never helped him pride at all. Him feel what's a hurt, you know, because I want a woman this now can help him, you know. So, Taja now, I say, yo, you know, my feel say this a woman and you talk about Kiri. She set you up, right? Of course, Taja was right because it births the warrior named Cybot, right? Noob Cybot. So, Kiri get him for go attack Kung Lao, and because Siro now had disappeared, right? Because of what it happened, Taja tell Kung Lao go on, and him and Taja, they may not go the underground again. And when them reach, Noob Cybot materialize and attack Kung Lao. Now Siro, just in time, comes in and rescue Kung Lao by igniting Noob Cybot, and him just shatter into some fiery shards. So the whole of them just run out of the underground city because it exploded into a fireball. Episode 7, Death of the Dragon. Now Taja's efforts to open a bazaar attract the attention of the Black Dragon clan, who seek to reclaim their power. So we're introduced to the Black Dragon organization, and Taja confronts our past and stands up against the clan. Alright? So I would consider this like a little filler episode because there isn't anything great that really comes out of it. I mean, the Black Dragon clan is basically Earthrealm, you know, there's no outworld activities really. But, you know, there's still some amount of fighting and so on in there. And yeah, I just have to say it, to be honest with you. It's not all that interesting. Episode 8, Undying Dream. Now, Shang Tsung kidnaps Taja, luring Kung Lao and Siro into a trap in the cobalt mines. So, in the episode opening, we see where Taja gets followed by one hooded figure, right? Now, she thinks the person who follow her is her father, having been separated for years, right? And she's basically an orphan, right? But she might have been abandoned. So she follow him now, and when she follow him into an alley, him just grab her and pull her into a portal where take her to the cobalt mines of Shao Kahn. And she just end up right at the feet of Shang Tsung. So while she in her minds, of course, Vorpax being the type of character that she is, she kind of double-sided, right? 1 minute she hot and the other minute she cold as ice, right? She's hot when she wants you to do something, and she's cold as ice when she executes whatever plan or whatever scheme she's doing, especially when it comes to these kind of things. So, 1 minute she'll tell you, say, yeah, man, me I gotta help her with so and so and so, but if things ever turn a different way and she can use you to her advantage, she's gonna use you. Shang Tsung, him send a vision to Kung Lao for make him know, say, I have Taja, so you need to come free her. And of course, Kung Lao, being the type of guy he is, and Siro, them end up going, right? Kung Lao, him not convinced Shang Tsung message is anything more than a trap, right? Anyways, after them I look about fear a little bit and realize, boy, them need to take Shang Tsung message seriously. So, they hold up the appointment that they have to go Outworld. And of course, when them reach Kombat Mines, Shang Tsung is very pleased because he know trap. The trap has been laid and they have, fell into it. And of course, Kung Lao, having little sense, he makes sure, say, him carry the crystal, right? The one that you use to travel between realms. Yeah, man. So, him say, yeah, let's go now. But Taja not ready, because she want to see our father, right? Because of him did lure her down there. Shang Tsung takes the opportunity to get the crystal from Kung Lao, right? And him imprison Kung Lao and Siro, right? And get Vorpax to find Taja. And in a great little use of Taja and her skills as a thief, she finds herself thrown into the cell with Siro and Kung Lao after Shang Tsung catch her, but she uses her pickpocket ability, get the crystal from him, right? And the three of them use the crystal power to get them back to Earthrealm. I thought that was a nice little ending, a nice funny little ending, Yeah, man. Things start to pick up at this point, I feel like, for the episodes. The pacing, the fighting, just the way how things supposed to be and what you expect out of Mortal Kombat. Episode 9, Quan Chi. The sorcerer, Quan Chi, emerges, challenging Kung Lao and his allies with his dark powers. He's a demon after all, right? He's an evil sorcerer, and him cast a spell over Kung Lao, Taja, and Siro, right? Which basically lead them down the path of self-destruction and downfall. Now, Quan Chi, him dispatch a trio of deadly women from the Nether Realm, right? And he's ruled off that realm, so him can use them to do that. So him get the three of them to attack the three heroes using a potion. And the potion, basically, it removes the mask of, their good qualities, and their shortcomings get magnified enormously. So Siro becomes a obnoxious drunk. Taja goes back to thievery, right? Kung Lao finds that his temper is uncontrollable to the point of violence and paranoia. So them not realize that they've been a victim of sorcery all know. That evil 1 point now, Kung Lao attack Siro at the trading post and him half beat him to death. Him throw him out of the second floor window. Yeah, that was really, really bad. Of course, Raiden steps in the midlife fight, seeing what go on and see how irrational Kung Lao and Siro, him realize there's something now go on. him soon find Taja because them almost ready for execute her for stealing. We then find one of the warrior them, the woman warrior them, Sora, and basically get her to tell him what a go on, right? And she tell him basically. So Quan Chi, him realize, Sora, tell Reed about what go on and thing. So him decides him go take care of Kung Lao. So Quan Chi thinks boy him could get Kung Lao for kill somebody, right, an innocent person in a fit of rage, right, and this would have caused him to be able to be banned from the temple, right, and he would have take Kung Lao's soul and trade it, right, to the highest bidder, right, most likely it would have been Shang Tsung, right, and then use it to win his freedom from Shao Kahn, Of course, Raiden getting wind of what was going on, him talk to Kung Lao, and he warn him that must remain focused when fighting Quan Chi, and don't fight blindly. And of course, Kung Lao heeds his advice, right? So after I was gone, bruised egos, hurt feelings, and broken bones, Kung Lao, Siro, and Taja, they realize, them need to work together, and get their lives back in order. Episode 10, Unholy Alliance. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi form a uneasy alliance to defeat Kung Lao. So Shang Tsung partners up with Quan Chi, right, to get Kung Lao away from Earthrealm, right, leaving it vulnerable for attack. So Kung Lao get plagued by some visions of his own defeat, right? Raiden remind him, say, boy, you only get these visions when you're filled with self-doubt and uncertainty, Kung Lao even feel resentful of all I sacrifice them when he make. Him sacrifice a lot, for after being a victor of Mortal Kombat, While Kung Lao then in weakened state, of course, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, them team up, right, and lure him away from Earthrealm, right, using his desires, right, what his life would have been before Mortal Kombat, and even his beloved Jen. We'll be right back after these messages. In a realm not bound by time or profit, a lone creator crafts stories of science and fiction. This podcast, born of passion and powered by curiosity, stands as a beacon for those who still believe in wonder. But it cannot thrive alone. To keep the balance between realms, it must be shared. If you are among the chosen who enjoy this journey, spread the word. Share it with a fellow warrior of the mind. Leave a comment to show you stand with us. For every follow and listen strengthens the force behind the microphone. This podcast lives because you believe. So the realm is a parallel realm, right? And what basically would have been is it allows him to manifest all his desires them. So after 24 hours, the illusion that is maintained by Shang Tsung will pass and he will be imprisoned for eternity, right? And this would all leave Earthrealm without a defender, right? And Shang Tsung can be freed from the cobalt mine to return to destructive ways. So the plan are going good and thing, Shang Tsung really has him locked in, right? Until him decides him a double cross Quan Chi, because him did agree with him say, that go share the secret of drawing the life force out of him victims them and harness the power for him own, right? And because Shang Tsung knows say Quan Chi would have been too much of a threat. You understand? Him ne want give him that deal, so him no bother. And of course, one double cross is as good as another. So Quan Chi even up go to the trading post and they tell Taja, right? And Siro exactly what's going on and what they can do to stop it. And of course, them not really didn't want to believe him at first, but they realized that Quan Chi try to fire Shang Tsung, right? That means say something serious, right? So this would begin the eroding of that unholy alliance that could have been formed, because if the two of them they get together any at all, man, it would have been crazy, right? Anyways, Quan Chi transport Taja and Siro to a parallel realm, and they're able to see that the illusion, right, is fading fast, and because Kung Lao is so much into it, him easy to convince, right? Siro drives a dagger through Jin and nothing happens, right? They realize, boy, he might get manipulated. So now Kung Lao, Taja, and Siro, they make it through the portal back to Earthrealm, right? Right in the nick of time, right? Breaking Shang Tsung's plans to bits. Yeah. Episode 11, Thicker Than Blood. Siro's estranged brother arrives, bringing family tensions and hidden agendas. Now, Siro, long exchanged brother, right? Him turn up in a Zuzing as a warrior for the evil Scorpion, right? Now, Siro and Kung Lao, them are busy to recruit prospective warriors, right? And Taja are run her bazaar out of the trading post courtyard. A mysterious woman now approaches Taja looking for Siro. When the woman, Anna, tell Taja that she once married Siro, Taja gets stunned and intrigued, you know? Now, Anna would have been married now to Siro's brother, right? His name is Kasar. And she come to Siro now because Kasar had gone missing and she fears him in trouble. So Siro now, because he had deal with being dumped by Hannah years ago, right? Him kind of ambivalent. You know, too what she then. You know, not my business, this, you are my brother there, in a real business. Meanwhile, now, Scorpion, in report now to Shao Kahn the plans to raise a dark army in the Earth realm, and he's recruiting only the deadliest fighters to carry out his plans. Now, unfortunately, now, Kassar, him did get caught under a spell of Scorpion, alright, and him join up. Now, Kassar and one of the other Scorpion warriors, them go to the trading post now for get Hannah, right, for join them. Of course, she did, I try to hear what I say, but she never want to go. She never budge, right? And want fight, break out, and Kassar escape. But the other warrior get captured by Kung Lao and Siro and Taja. And of course, them eventually find a way to kneel on this man's pinpoints with a big dagger, right? And then get him to tell them where Scorpion there. Now, them would have get outnumbered by Scorpion warrior. So, Kung Lao and Siro devise a ingenious plan to infiltrate the operations and forget Kassar. Now them decide to send Hannah to Scorpion, right? And she basically go there, pledge her loyalty, just like what her husband do, right? Once she get Kassar alone by himself, she lead him into a trap, right? Which gets set by Siro and take him back to the trading post, right? Where them try to deprogram him in quotes, right? Now, Kassar and Siro, they attempt to sort out their years of sibling rivalry, right? Which would have been caused by daddy issues, right? Cause them father always put them up against one another to compete for his love, right? Now, finally, Kung Lao, Taja, Anna, and Siro, them able to convince Kassar to stay and join them in their noble quest. And the episode ends there. No, it does not. Because after a nice celebratory feast, Siro and Kassar at the trading post and catching up on the years they've been separated, Scorpion appears. And he says he's come to reclaim what is his, right? Which is Kassar, of course. And of course, this is the first time that the brothers would fight alongside each other, right? Instead of against one another. And after Siro, Scorpion, realize, boy, the only thing we can do right now is to just take out Kassar and just take him out, right? And just left. Just like that. Episode 12. Shadow of a Doubt. Shao Kahn sends an imposter to defeat Kung Lao, leading to confusion and mistrust. Now, Shao Kahn makes some attempts on Kung Lao, right? Which would have been stopped by his stepdaughter, which is Princess Katana, right? So, in the opening, we would have seen where Kung Lao was being attacked by a warrior, right? Who would be able to summon lightning from the sky to strike his opponents, right? Shao Kahn has sent Rain to kill Kung Lao, and this would have give him control of Earthrealm, right? So Samsung I try to get him, right? And Shao Kahn I try to get him. So say both sides might get it, from. And this would have been able to keep, him in that Samsung in the Cobalt Mines for eternity. Now, Taja came upon what was going on and thing, and, Kung Lao was badly injured, right? And he need a few days bed rest. Shao Kahn decides that this is the perfect opportunity to get someone into that trading post and finish the job, right? So in order to get somebody like that, him get a warrior, right? Named Melina, right? Most of you would know that grin, right? And she's able to transform her looks to look like the stepdaughter, right? And so she come now because she's, Princess Katana and, and she get for weaken Kung Lao even more and, right? She nurse him, but at the same time she kill him. So when Samsung learns that Shao Kahn plan to kill Kung Lao, he realize, boy, I need to tap this because, if the plan not get filed, he might go escape the Cobalt Mine. So him get Vorpax to intervene, right? Now Vorpax she convince the evil Katana or Melina that Shao Kahn is using her, and once she kill Kung Lao, she too done, right? So she tell her, say, I better you keep him alive as long as possible. after a little bit, Melina start develop feelings for Kung Lao, and she make excuses to Shao Kahn, right? Of course, Taja becomes very suspicious of Kitana's behavior. For the little time when she didn't know her to be this, touchy-feely, And she realized, boy, Kung Lao now get better, I get worse. So in I see him speed now, Siro has been tracking the warrior, right? Who would attack Kung Lao. So him try to, defend himself and thing, but Rain pretty much almost done him, right? With the lightning blast, right? But he's saved by Princess Katana and her fighting fans, right? If you know the games, you know her fandom, how them stay. It is an exact. There's nothing different from how the in game, Anyways, it turns out that Shang Tsung alerted Princess Katana to keep Kung Lao alive, right? This was his last ditch attempt. So, of course, when Siro see her, is like, I'm surprised. Can man say, oh, you reach here so fast because you did at the trading post. And at this one, I realize, say, the one where they are, the trading post is an imposter, right? Sent by Shao Kahn. So, the real Kitana now hurry back to the trading post, right? And confront the imposter, right? And the two of them face off, right? Melina and Kitana face off. So, of course, after the real Kitana beat Melina, she have to answer to Shao Kahn because, she wonder what going, right? Because have to expose the imposter, right? And of course, being the type of person that Kitana is, she's able to, evade detection as a alliance, Episode 13, Twisted Truth. Shao Kahn schemes to prevent Kung Lao from forming a powerful alliance. Shao Kahn uses the evil Vorpax to keep Kung Lao from recruiting a fellow Mortal Kombat warrior to defend Earthrealm. So, in comes a traveler named Thomas, who arrives in Zuzing, and he tells Kung Lao and Taja that he wants to join their cause, defending Earthrealm. He tells them that he was supposed to compete in the Mortal Kombat tournament against Kung Lao, in which Kung Lao win, but him they get trapped in a village by an avalanche. A very likely but unusual excuse, right? When Siro returned to the post now and meet Thomas, him get very skeptical, Cause I must say, oh, you just seem like you just fall from the sky, bro. Something not right about this. So him challenge him to a training match, and Thomas end up whooping ass and broke him man. Right? After the Thomas had arrived in Zuzing, one barmaid at a tavern was murdered, right? And then a few days later, a second barmaid was killed, right? Kung Lao and Siro, them set off to investigate the murders and, find out what's going on. But the only evidence is that there's a man's bracelet at the scene. When them carried back to the trading post, Taja see it as something familiar and similar to the one that Thomas had bought for her the day before. So when Kung Lao and Siro asked to see Thomas' bracelet, he can't find it. Right? All of this is adding up, eh? Now, the evidence against Thomas grows, Now, Siro, he saw him washing up in the courtyard late the night of the second murder. And so he must surmise, say, he must have some scratch on his chest. And, when him ask him about it, him swear, say, him don't know about it, and he's being framed, right? And of course, him set out to clear him name. Now, Kung Lao is in a quandary, so him seek some counsel from Raiden, right? And Raiden tell him, say, yeah, man, the fighter, him have, some good instincts and whatever, follow him instincts about what him feel. So, Thomas, on him way traveling outside of the city, him hear one woman being attacked, right? And he rushed to her aid. Now, the would-be victim, quote-unquote, is Vorpax, who has set a cleverly designed trap, right? Basically, there's no other way to say it, and make it look like Thomas was attacking her. So, when him go for help her now, the attacker disappears, right? Vorpax tears her own clothing and starts scream, say, boy, leave me alone, or whatever. Anyways, whatever she said, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was enough to get a whole heap of villagers, for appear, right? And she tell them, say, yo, the man attacked me and thing and and, suggesting that him might be the murderer of the two barmaids them. So, of course, following this incident now thing, Thomas returned back to the trading post, right? And the villagers them demand justice, justice. Now, Kung Lao say him have to go take responsibility for Thomas. Yeah, man. Meanwhile, in our Outworld, Shao Kahn is quite pleased that Vorpax's plan has gone well. And it turned out, say, that Thomas is in fact who he says he is, right? So, they had stopped him from joining forces with Kung Lao, right? Because he would have posed even more of a threat against Shao Kahn, right? In the next Mortal Kombat. Of course, Thomas don't make it no easier because of the way him that move a little bit. And him continue to defend him innocence, right? Thomas said, boy, you know what? I better me leave, yeah, man. I wish me could have worked with him, but no look like that got happen. Now, Kung Lao tells him cannot leave, right? Because I'm under house arrest, right? And then start for showdown and fight. Taja interrupt the fight, right? Just as the two warriors them about to kill one another. When Shao Kahn realized him plan look like it gonna be foiled, him send a reptile to finish off the two of them. So just as reptiles spray a shower of deadly acid towards Kung Lao, Siro and Taja, Thomas jumps in like a hero in front of it, takes a hit like a bullet, when the Secret Service them jump in front of the bullet for save the president. Yeah, man, I saw. And Thomas is killed instantly. A reptile disappear, kind of job done. At least him get one of them. Yeah. That's why you can't judge too quickly, guys. Episode 14. Festival of Death. So as before I continue, the episodes start to have some more structure and a lot more meat to the bones in terms of things, not in terms of duration, because they're still the same 30 to 40 minute episodes, but the episodes got a lot more intriguing and they got a lot more interesting, as I said before. How many times I'm going to say it, right? But at this point, this is where I noticed that as completely switched from the regular run-of-the-mill every episode, one or two fight, whatever. No, there's like some introspection, something interesting. There are double crosses. There are a whole lot of different things. But yeah, episode 14, Festival of Death, right? So a traveling festival brings chaos as an army of undead souls threaten the realm. So the circus that comes to town appears to have some negative connotation, some negative magic, right? Kung Lao would have taken on a trainee, right? This nice girl, right? Beautiful woman. And, she would have trained under the masters in the temple and so on. And so now she has come to train with Kung Lao, but she has her reasons, right? Because she wants to fight, right? Kung Lao, of course, say, I'm not training you for fight necessarily. I train you to defend yourself and to use it for good, not for just be, So this festival, how that involved now is that the festival they have fights at nights, right? In a particular place. And the fights are controlled by Quan Chi, right? And he has Mira, who would have been controlling what was happening. So when they have a champion for the night, that their champion becomes soul food. Literal, your soul is mine, pull out your soul, yeah, and end up in our box, right? And this girl who mentioned was with, she was looking for, somewhere to use her new acquired skills, and she ended up going to the fight. And when she went to the fight, of course, the trio, they had to go there to find out what's going on because, they weren't expecting that. And they end up going there and being drawn into a trap, actually. Right? They could have lost their lives there. But instead, the girl got taken, right? And we get to realize, say, Vorpax was watching what was going on all along, because she'd have take cues as to what's going on and stuff, right? And we see she's like this double crosser. She depend on both sides and things. She play both sides of the field. Same way how she deal with everything anyways. She sweet you up when time she want to get information, and then she use that information if it's beneficial to her against you at some point. So yeah. And so in the end, they were able to get the circus to leave, but at what cost, right? The death of one of a possible fighter. She was good, but she wasn't Kung Lao good, right? Episode 15, The Serpent and the Ice. Now, Kung Lao's forces Scorpion and Sub-Zero into an uneasy partnership, right, to eliminate Kung Lao. Yeah, so the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero intensify, and Kung Lao navigates the threat that is posed by the two formidable assassins, yeah? So Sub-Zero and the Lin Kuei clan, them now fight for Shao Kahn, right? I remember they previously would have been fighting for Sang Sung, and now them provide them service to the Emperor of Outworld, right? Under duress. But Sub-Zero later have to go up against Scorpion, right? His companion named Perran, right? Because they were almost like brethrens, right? They're my family. And you can understand how that would have been, really detrimental to any relationship, right? As I said before, it builds on itself, right? Episode 16, Kriya. Empress Kriya kidnaps Shang Tsung to use him in her plan to overthrow Outworld and Earthrealm. So we get an introduction of Kriya and her matriarchal society, right? So she's the queen, and she basically have the men them basically and thing, she get them to mate with her, and then she can make armies, right? Literally overnight. Kung Lao and Shang Tsung form a temporary alliance against a common enemy because she's very formidable, right? So Kung Lao, Taja, and Siro have encountered them, and the mafia figure out a way out of the situation, right? Because she basically planned to use Earthrealm as the staging area for building up the army, as I said before, and that would help her in her fight, right? So we're introduced to yet another side of the coin, another supposed threat to Earthrealm, but at the same time, they're a threat because they also have long history with Outworld, right? And not a good history either. Episode 17, The Master. Shang Tsung and Omegas, they face their former mentor, who pose a new threat to Kung Lao. So we get to realize some things. There are some revelations that come out of this episode where Shang Tsung is involved. He turns out to have been a former Earthrealm dweller, if you want to call it. He's a human being, and born a human being, right? So he would have been one of those persons who would have gone up for Mortal Kombat to fight, but he lost, right? His master, Master Chow, he would have been betrayed by Shang Tsung because Shang Tsung lost Mortal Kombat, and when he lost, he learned how to stay young, to stay immortal, by taking souls, other person's souls. So defeat people and take them soul. And the stronger his enemy, the better for him, right? Yeah. He would have also been introduced to Shao Kahn as well. And Shao Kahn would be the one to basically say, your master never tell you everything, But me, I go be your master now. Me, I go teach you the ways of the taking of a soul. Your soul is mine, And him did right in front of the man. And you can see that initial reaction of anybody who was, human, be like, what did I just see? And then he ended up doing it. He did it out of desperation. Some burglars came to fight him and him master. And the two of them beat them down. And when them done, him say, you know what? I got to take them on their soul. And the master said, no, don't do it. Because once you go down the path there, you can't turn back. You know the wickedest thing about the episode here too? That I was like, I can't believe Master Chow himself was a taker of souls too. So he, I didn't know. I thought Shao Kahn was just trying to get Shang Tsung on his side by telling him that, right? Probably spinning out a lie, but it was true. Master Chow did that. And so when he came back in this episode, through the different flashbacks were going on, he came as trying to help Kung Lao, and Kung Lao was initially yeah, sure, maybe. But then when him started, Kung Lao say, hey, once me start work together, we're going down a path, and I hope you can manage to go down a path then. Now, the meanwhile, when they say, a man still a city, people's soul, basically. So everybody in the village, even Taja and Siro, him basically weaken them. So, Shang Tsung, because him did attack Shang Tsung in the opening credits, basically, before the credits, pre-credit. He attacked him and, put a spell upon him, basically, that would weaken him and stuff. And when him called for Omegas and thing. So he went back after Kung Lao refused him offer. He went back to find them and take them out. And all if you know say Shang Tsung did imprison him before, because he could have killed him, right? Him and Omegas. And him left Omegas and got Outworld. That, what I'm saying? These are some of the interesting details of this episode. It was so interesting because it gave you it gave you a different side of Shang Tsung, right? It almost could have come out like Kung Lao, which is why the story was even designed that way, because it's basically like it's saying this could be Kung Lao, because if Kung Lao was to take Master Chow's advice, he might go down the same path, because Master Chow, anyways, Omega-san and Shang Tsung, they imprison him once more, this time hoping that he would be stuck for a good little while. Episode 18, In Cold Blood. Now, Kriya returns to Earthrealm once more, aligning with the Zaterians to raise a lethal army, right? So, Kriya should team up with Reptile. Reptile, is another famous one of those characters that from the games. Reptile spit acid and thing. And he would have been the one who spit acid upon Thomas and thing. So the Zaterians apparently pledge allegiance to Kriya so that them can prepare for combined force and go up against Shao Kahn. Now, of course, Reptile had, or the chief Reptile or King Reptile, or whatever you want to call him, he would have had some little misgivings about whether him should be aligned against, Emperor. But I don't know, whatever allure that Kriya has, that allure has him locked, because he was like, him go up against one of them general, them who challenge him one time, and him beat that general down. And everybody was like, yes, sir. Whatever you say after that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, man, another interesting episode. Again, I mean, the episode just, there is a whole lot of seduction and thing going on. And I like a little story with a little bit of, hanky-panky going on. And, some lethal attraction thing, say? Yeah. The warriors from Earthrealm, they have been tricked once more, right? Siro was tricked into thinking that Anka could be trusted in destroying one of the hives them where Kriya had, but yeah, alas, they found out. After they found out, he went back, right? After him not half healed, because him did get in a fight with Reptile, and he go back with a bomb and blew up the hive that they said that they had blown up, right? Which they had lied about. Yeah. So we can see that there is a lot of tensions high in this episode, especially with the different alliances and misalliances that are happening, both on Earthrealm side as well as on the other side. Episode 19, Flawed Victory. Kung Lao faces a moral dilemma when a victory comes at a great personal cost. Yeah. So we get to see an exploration of the consequences of some of the choices that they make in battle, and Kung Lao reflects on the true meaning of victory. So Shao Kahn would have enlisted Quan Chi to find the missing Shang Tsung and return him to the Cobalt Mines. Now, Shang disguises himself as Quan Chi and tries to kill the Emperor, right? And his intention is to make him look like a traitor, you know? And, you know, thinking about it now, the plan could have gone sideways, you know, because Shang Tsung could have been killed right there and then as Quan Chi, right? But the Emperor decided to send him to the cobalt mines, right? Which is where he was before, right? He never know say Shang Tsung insane, right? Or did he? But Quan Chi that they're going with things, challenge the heroes again and thing. And Shang Tsung come in and thing, and him like, two of them are face off. And when he realize him almost ready for beat Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung is like, yo, you need to know something, that the Emperor, you want your head now, because me did that. And I was like, you, and him just deal with him case, you know what I'm saying? Almost deal with him case still. Him escape through a portal and get back to where man come from, that Shang Tsung. And Quan Chi is like, him vow, say, him and him done, basically, right? They have fractured relationship before, but it worse now. Episode 20, Balance of Power. A shift in the power dynamics threaten the stability of alliances in Earthrealm. So you see, every episode from where I was talking about, it just builds on to something greater, right? And this is where we're seeing that greatness being, manifested. So as Shao Kahn furiously seeks the traitor, right? Reptile. The balance of power is menacingly shifting, putting everyone on Earthrealm and Outworld in danger. Vorpax, who I work with Kriya, convinced Kung Lao and his friends to help kill Kriya now. It's what I talk about. When time it benefit her, she would do anything. Yeah, man. So there is a lot going on in the episode, of course, where Reptile basically offered swore allegiance at one point, but it was a ruse used by Shao Kahn for listening on a conversation, because once him swear in allegiance, one of him priests can listening on the conversations of whoever it is that swear allegiance. So one of the girl them come to Reptile and thing, and because she watch what go on, him have her in the throne room, hidden, invisible, right? Camouflaged, if you will, listening on everything what's going on. And she finds out that is what is going on. So she go back to report to Reptile, tell him say, you can't say anything about what I'm going to tell you, because your conversation is basically being wiretapped through you. Or just you. Whatever you say is being wiretapped, but I can't tell you anything. So while that are going on and thing, Vorpax set up Kriya with Kung Lao and him friend them. Kung Lao fight Kriya and thing, him get injured and can't really manage himself. So Kriya is almost taken out, and Vorpax come in and stab her, kill her. And little after that now they realize, say, boy, Vorpax's reason for this is because she wants to be queen. And so she takes Kriya's power right then and there. Yeah. So now Reptile either have to go shift for work with Shao Kahn, or him can't work with Shao Kahn because at this point he's seen as a traitor by Shao Kahn. Him not trust him. So, and him not have any, because Kriya dead now, so he not have no thing there with that side of the family either. So him basically left on him own. And at this point, Vorpax would take Shang Tsung now for basically be her mate and thing. Yeah, because she can choose who she want, right? Episode 21, Stolen Lies. So, deception and betrayal test the bonds between Kung Lao and his allies. Yeah, so Taja's old friend Dion, she suddenly make an appearance at the trading post, right, in search of her mysterious city, right, the Shankana, right, which hold a very deadly secret. Now, the people of the city, they worship a god they call Shaka and believe they will receive some salvation in a place they call Farland. Now, Shaka is short for Shao Kahn because these people, they are worshipping Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is using a city as a way to get himself a portal into a foothold into Earthrealm. He set this up basically, it seems, from the beginning, right? With Taja's friend Dion. And Dion would have walked her friend and her friends, right? That's Kung Lao and Siro into a trap. So them go there, and when them reach, you know what I'm saying, them can't leave the city. When Kung Lao see the kids them a fight, right, a play fight, and when I youth them, when him have done one of him opponent on the ground, it's like, your soul is mine, you know? Without the actual pulling the soul, him just a ramp, you know? Him pick up something weird, him must say, wait, something go on. But before this, Kung Lao has been having some dreams. Some very visceral, crazy dreams, right? It's almost a vision into the future. It is. And at this point now, you would have seen them with one of the items that they have in the city with some markings on it and recognize it as one of the things that he saw in his vision, right? Yeah. Raiden was basically on vacation, drunk as a bat, yeah? So while they were at the city and things started to look grave, Raiden started to feel what's going on. Because at that point, the heroes are captured, them torturing Kung Lao, and them have Taja and Siro in our cage. So, as the people of the city await the return of Shao Kahn, their Shaka god, right? Them perform one ritual where basically open the portal. Yeah. And 3 shadowy figures come out of the portal, right? And the 3 of them combine together at one point now and them fight the last Mortal Kombat hero, right? Champion, because defeating him would allow unfettered access of Shao Kahn to the realm. Now Raiden, just in time, him pick up what go on, him pick up on him radar, what go on, and him appear in the city, and him, you know, basically stop them from killing him, right? And him tell the 3 of them to leave the city, him open back the way for them, so they must leave now. And the 3 of them run out, and him approach the portal, and him call out in the portal, and him say, yo, Shao Kahn, me and you have unfinished business. What you deal with? What are you trying to do? And him just step into the portal and meet Shao Kahn in the middle, I guess, between Earthrealm and Outworld. I don't know about that part of it. I've never seen that before. But yeah, they meet and them they're there. Yeah. Episode 22, Vengeance. Really and truly, I think 21 and 22 is part 1 and part 2 of the episode. Yeah. But how I remember it, basically, yeah, they are one, right? Because it follows straight on. Because we find Raiden going through the portal, ending up in that space, right? Shao Kahn breaks the rules of Mortal Kombat, right? And launch an invasion on Earthrealm. Shao Kahn unleashes his fury against all enemies them. So every single one that we know. First, he went for Reptile, right? Take out Reptile and him crony. Him take out Kitana, right? Because Kitana came to warn Kung Lao and him friends. Take her out before she's able to tell him anything. Them take out Vorpax and Samsung. Them take out Quan Chi. I forgot Quan Chi was first. Yeah, Quan Chi and then Shang Tsung. Yeah. And then apparently because we saw where Omegas was helping them to get back into the city, right? Which was a big mistake because it was all a part of the Emperor's plan. So he kept Raiden there while he took out all of the other alliances, them all in one fell swoop. And then guided Taja, Siro, and Kung Lao back into the city and took them out as well. After Raiden realized what he is doing and what he has done, two of them face off and fight. But at some point, I don't know, it seems Shao Kahn was in control of something and Raiden ended up in an outworld. And by the rules of Mortal Kombat, Shao Kahn cannot go to Earthrealm, right? He's forbidden. And if Raiden sets foot in Outworld, he loses his powers and becomes a mortal, a regular human being. And at the end of the episode, we see where he loses his powers, right? Because he hadn't realized that he was fighting in Outworld. And they basically torture him. And just like what Shao Kahn shouted to him through the portal and tell him in the first, in 21, episode 21, he said, "You will bow to me, Raiden." Raiden now bows to Shao Kahn. So the series ends right there. It would have been lovely to see. It's a great cliffhanger. Would be able to see what would have happened after that. You know, a little bit of a 3-parter or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I guess they just wanted to just do something interesting. And the journey came to an end there for whatever reason. Yeah. So here are my theories about unresolved mysteries or plot points in Mortal Kombat Conquest series. So the fate of the characters and the story arcs, right? So of course the series ended very abruptly, right? One season, right? So it leave a lot of character building left up in the air for certain people, right? Kung Lao's quest for vengeance, right? What would that have been like, right? What was Shao Kahn's invasion plans about? How would it have looked like? You know, where would it have completed, right? The rule of Shang Tsung and, you know, other villains, right? Because Shang Tsung have some plans, right? And they have some connection to the elder gods and the other realms, right? Which could have been fully developed, but it didn't get that full development, eh? The series did look upon him ambitions and, you know, there's dark magic, but it did not resolve, you know, some of the things them, you know, fully, right? We could have seen a little bit more of his backstory, you know, perhaps, you know, a little of is growing up, where because if he's human, which I didn't really realize until I watched this series, what kind of humanity he had, right? Where is this coming from? Why is it that he was so susceptible to, your soul is mine, just wanting souls, Yeah. And the nature of the realms and the timeline. So yes, the series take place in a past setting, right? It almost kind of give you Renaissance style kind of thing, right? I did notice that some of the ladies, they were really decked out, looking really good. I noticed that some of it was makeup. That was very obvious makeup and nails. I saw the girl with the seduce written on one eye time. She'd have on some nails, and I was like, she have on nails, and this is supposed to be set in the past. Well, I guess probably in their past, them have nails technology, to add nails, acrylic nails onto their fingers and stuff. But yeah, the multiverse of the different realms kind of give you this idea that there is so much to it because you only really get to admire some of the places, where you know about and where you hear like Outworld and, what sets them apart, couldn't we see more of that, right? What makes them so different? Why is it that Zeteria has, what is about Zeteria that is reptile prone or, fosters reptile, in their form, right? Because obviously they're able to take human form, but why is it that they're able to also be reptiles? Them kind of thing, they're unclear. Yeah. And I guess probably because they were trying to do their best to keep some of the things from not spilling over too much because it's a prequel of the movies, Yeah, perhaps. Then, I have my usual questions about some of these things like were Taja and Siro supposed to be training under Kung Lao? And I say that because that's where it started, and then it just seemed like it kind of never really did do. I didn't see a lot more off of that storyline in terms of, yeah, them supposed to be doing that, but you get the feelings that, oh, them did just that they're try to survive, and there wasn't much work on the training really, Yeah, there wasn't much around that. Yeah. Most of the time, if you wonder why the guys them don't listen to Taja. Taja always have some good instincts on certain things, and it turns out to be right in most of the case, right? She's very perceptive when we're there, and then I really listen to her, yeah. Especially with the pretty woman, them I can understand, when you see a pretty woman, your skin catch a fire, and you stop use your head, Anyways, Vorpax and Shangsang. It's almost like a will they, won't they kind of couple, right? Similar to Taja and Siro. We get to see that both of them being, maybe not, maybe not. And then at the end, we saw something, and then I'm like, okay, Vorpax didn't really want this. She was trying to use him, right? Why is she so angry? I'm still a little bit boggled by that, Yeah. Why Siro ever get hurt? I mean, there's no storyline that shows that much of the obviousness of Siro being hurt, right? He's usually the first ones in most episodes to get hurt, right? There are one or two episodes that are an exception, but I'm saying it just seems like they perpetually use Siro as this jumping off point that, hey, Siro gets hurt here, so we gotta do this next, and then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think the series suffered from not just the low budget, but a lack of working with the right elements, you know? Because you have some really fundamental stuff that you can take even when you have a low budget, I think, based on some of the series and movies that I've seen. You have some low budget stuff, but you still have a good story. You're able to maximize on that because you could have, if you had good stories to tell each episode, each week, people would have been coming back. People would have been like, hey, you need to check out the Mortal Kombat. Yeah, the first 3 episodes, them all right, and then you have to wait till 14 episodes in or thereabouts, right, to kind of feel the what was going on and actually be vested in it. And then by the time you get really interested, episodes, series, everything done. How man we feel after that, eh? I'm just registering my frustration at the fact that even though when I was younger, when it aired on TV, right, and it's Jamaican television, it wasn't going to be everything that would have aired because some of the episodes that I'm able to watch now, I don't think that would have been aired on TV at the time slot that I indicated, right? Because yeah, man, there was a little bit too much skin, especially what I'm saying, as well as people believe say them fighting there was violent, but if I look at it now in contrast, I'm like, not even the final fight there with Raiden and thing that was that violent. I mean, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? If you can sit through some of the things, then yeah, one of those series that you could sit through some of the VFX and be like, that's obviously not real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it does never. It did seem like it kind of get taken out of the show, but with all the criticisms that I can levy against it, I still enjoyed the series for what it wanted to be and where it went, and it would have been great to see a little bit more, which I would have indicated already, but yeah, that's it for me on that one. You can share your favorite Mortal Kombat Conquest series moments or theories. Drop them in the comments. In this episode, we looked at Mortal Kombat Conquest, the quest for power in the Outworld. And it's quite a quest, isn't it? Because there are so many things happening, so many alliances that could have been and what couldn't have been. And we got to see some humanity in even some of the most vile of villains, right? I have to say a special shout out to the character and the actor who plays Kung Lao, Shang Tsung, and Raiden. Acting is superb. Chef's kiss. And I have to say that in most scenes when you have a focus on a character and they can really sell who they are and what they're doing, it really tells. Oh yeah, and the guy who played Quan Chi as well. How could I forget? I mean, him they not makeup, but you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? He's not being one of the normal sort of things. He has that demented vibe as a demon, But yeah, that is it. Our quest through the universe of sci-fi television has reached a powerful milestone, 1,000 downloads. But the journey continues as we now venture towards the next marker, 1250. Your support is the magic that drives us forward. Share, follow, and let your voice ripple through the stars. Until we meet again, may wonder be your compass and curiosity your guide.